I have just gathered 5 insane fruit hacks from Zack the film, like turning an orange into a candle that can literally burn for hours, powering a light bulb with only a lemon, and many more. Today, I'm going to be testing all of them to see if they actually work, starting with...
You stick a nail into a lemon and a penny into the other side, the acid in the lemon juice will react with the zinc in the nail, causing it to lose electrons. These will then travel through the lemon and toward the copper in the penny. You can then attach a small light bulb with wires, and the lemon will work like a battery, creating just enough electricity to turn it on, all without plugging into a socket.
Alright, let's try it out. So I have everything I need for this test, except I couldn't lay my hand on a coin. And since a coin is basically made up of copper, especially for this particular test, so I ended up using a copper wire to make this structure that I will be using. So hopefully it works. I have the lemon here, so according to Zack, we first put in a nail in one side, and then we put in a coin in the other side. So since I don't have a coin and this is not strong enough to puncture, I'm going to use a knife to create the space now. So I'm going to insert this, and I'll be using this to test if it is actually producing any current. So this is a working light bulb that can come on with even a very little power. Now the moment of truth. So let's test if this can actually turn a light bulb on. I have just tested with a bulb and it is not coming on. So I don't know if it is because it is too small. I'm going to use 2 lemon now so that it can serve as 2 different batteries. Nothing is coming on. So that was it. Lemon battery not working. I don't know why it did not work. Everything here was okay except that I did not use a coin, but that shouldn't be a problem. That is it. It did not work. Let's move to the next one.
When you slice a watermelon in half and in half again, then cut it into wedges, the sticky juices cover your face as you eat. And since it doesn't fit your mouth, you actually lose some of the fruit. Instead, cut the watermelon in half on the short side and flip it over. Next, slice even strips in one direction, then again in the other direction, making a grid. When you pull out a piece, most of them will be the perfect size to fit in your mouth.
Let's try that out. That was a clean cut.
Stick the orange in a glass and slice the peel all the way around. Then slide a spoon under the peel to separate it from the fruit. Do the same on the other side before pulling off the top half. Now slowly wiggle the fruit out of the bottom, leaving the white core attached to the peel. Then pour olive oil over it until it's soaked and fill the bowl-shaped peel halfway before lighting the core. As it burns, it'll pull oil up through its fibers just like a wick, giving you a homemade candle that can burn for hours.
So first thing, we place the orange on a cup and then start cutting around. I have no idea why we are putting it in a cup, but let me take it out so that I can see what I'm doing. Now put a spoon under. So as you can see, for this particular orange, it did not work. I couldn't get this to be here. So I'm going to try again with another orange. So after a lot of struggling, this is what I have. And as you can see, it doesn't work as Zack told us. I had to peel them off and not just wiggle and wiggle and wiggle and then it comes out the way it is shown in that video. So in the process, I thought this, which I will be using a paper sellotape to hold so that it can contain the olive oil. Okay, I have this extra virgin olive oil. I don't know if being a virgin oil will make it more flammable, but let's see. Okay, so since this is working very well, I'm going to just leave it there at that wall to keep it burning until I'm totally done with the video. I'm talking about shooting, editing, till the very last part of the edit, and then at the end I'm going to include if it was still burning or it stopped. So let's see how long this can keep burning.
As you slice down, the blade can slip off the pit and shoot in your hand if you try to cut an avocado while holding it. If you stab the pit to twist it out, it can also slip, sending the knife into your fingers. Instead, place the avocado on a cutting board and slice around the pit. Then rotate the halves apart. Tap the pit with your knife blade and twist to lift it out. And if you clean the pit, wrap it in a damp paper towel and let it sit for a few weeks, it'll start to germinate. Then just put it in some soil and you now have an infinite avocado glitch.
Okay, I have an avocado here, so according to Zack the film, we should cut around like this. I don't think this is the type of avocado he was talking about, because this looks very easy to remove. Like, this is just too easy. Maybe it was an unripe one, because this is a ripe one and quite ready to eat. So let's try with this one that is not yet ripe. And then according to Zack, you should twist this. Okay, it worked. And that's it. So the next thing was to put this in a bag and plant it. But with the way I inserted the knife, I'm very sure I've killed whatever is inside. And we can't obviously wait for 2 weeks to see if this will work. But that worked.
Place an orange sideways and slice it with a sharp knife to create 2 even halves. You can use your thumb to push firmly on the peel from the outside. This will flip the orange half inside out, making the slices look like flower petals. And you'll be left with bite-sized chunks, which you can easily pluck off one by one without getting covered in juice.
Okay, I have this orange, so the first thing is to cut it into 2. And then press there. Okay, that worked. All you have to do now is to be peeling each of them. This is 3 hours later and it is still burning. 4 hours later, this is what is left after 5 hours plus. So it is totally dry, though some of the oil leaked. Okay guys, so that is it. I tried 5 of it and then 4 worked. That's good enough for me if you ask me. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.